Welcome back. Welcome back to the second part of this engine component. Now, in the last part, we have discussed about different components. The half of the components we have already discussed. Now, in second part of this lecture, we'll discuss again the construction, function, and material of the remaining engine components. In the last lecture, we have discussed these components up to the oil pan. Now from cylinder liners, gaskets, pistons, we'll discuss these remaining components of this uh, engine component. So again, the reflection spot is there. We must reflect the we must have a question in our mind. What are the different functions of the component, then different components of the engine, and what is the material for manufacturing these components. Now here, uh, cylinder liners and gaskets. I have combined these two parameters, the cylinder liners and gaskets. Generally, cylinder liners are fixed inside the cylinder block. Why these cylinder liners are necessary? Because we need a smooth surface, and we need for the movement of the piston. So generally cylinder liners are placed, or it is also called as a sleeve, are press fitted inside this cylinder block, so that whenever a damage or any thing happens, you just to you need to replace this part only. This is this otherwise, if the cylinder liner will not be there, then you need to replace total block, that is total cylinder block or the engine block of the engine. So these cylinder liners are placed inside the cylinder block, and in these cylinder liners the piston is reciprocating. You can observe this figure. Now, what is construction of the cylinder liner? Cylinder liner is the inner surface of the cylinder block, rather I will say cylinder bore, is formed from the either a thin metallic liner, also called a sleeve, or a surface coating applied to the engine block. We can say that this is surface coating applied to the engine block. This is the engine block, and this acts as a surface coating in the form of thin sheet. A piston is seated inside each cylinder by several metal piston rings, because we know that piston never comes into contact with the full body of the sleeve. It is having three rings on the piston. We'll discuss later on this. These three rings, these piston rings will come into contact with this inner side of this sleeves or the cylinder liners. Now, what is gasket? Gasket is a mechanical seal which fills the space between two or more mating surfaces, because we know that when metal to metal contact comes when there is a metal to metal contact like cylinder block and cylinder head, there is a chances of leakage, because metal to metal contact is not perfect. So to fill that gap, we place a gasket in between two parts, mating parts. These gaskets are made up of flat material or sheets such as paper, rubber, silicon, metal. Some gaskets are made up of metal also, a soft metal, copper. From copper also the gaskets can be made, or it is made up of cork, or in some modern modern engines, it is made up of plastic polymer also. So this what is the purpose of this gasket? To prevent the to make a leak proof joint, so that the gases or the compression won't leak from this joint. Take an example of cylinder block and cylinder head. Cylinder block and cylinder head, below that there is a, we have in the last period we have discussed that in this cylinder and piston a compression is taking place, and this compression should not leak, otherwise engine will not be able to develop the power. So these two components are very essential part of the engine. So function of the cylinder liner is to serving as the inner wall of the cylinder, and forms a smooth sliding surface for the piston rings while retaining the lubricant within, because we need a lubrication also to move this piston. A gasket prevents leakage between two metallic joints under compression. So cylinder liners gives a proper path to the piston, and the gaskets uh, provides a provision to a leak-proof joint. Now the next component is piston pins and piston rings. You can observe here in this figure the pistons are shown here. Now this is the figure here. Here you can observe the piston and three rings are there. The first ring, then this is the second ring, and this is third ring. So this is the figure. In this figure you can find out these three rings. Whole piston will not be in contact with the cylinder. Only these rings will be in the contact with the cylinder. Whatever the expansion taking place at this top side of this piston, this expansion means combustion of gases will create a force on the top side of the piston, and this piston will come down by sliding over this inner wall of the sleeves, what we have seen in the earlier slide. Only these piston rings will come into contact with the cylinder wall. Whole piston will not be in contact with the cylinder wall. Now what are the function of these piston rings? Piston ring reduces the frictional contact between liner and piston by providing a compression gas sealing, because whatever the explosion taking place on the top side of the piston should not leak from this side of the piston. It must only press this piston, top side of the piston, so that the crank will move. The piston ring seals the cylinder so that combustion gas generated at the time of ignition does not leak into the opening between the piston and the cylinder. Engines are usually fitted with 3 piston rings per cylinder. 3 pistons, 1, 2, 3. The first ring is compression ring. Second ring is also a compression ring. And third is the bottommost ring is the oil scrubbing ring. It is called oil lubricating ring. Now you can observe here. Engines are usually fitted with 3 piston rings per cylinder. The first ring holds back the combustion gases. The second ring also holds the back combustion gases as well as scrubs the oil downward. The third ring holds the oil where it need to be, because from the bottom side of the piston, the oil is moving, oil is sprayed, so that during movement there will be a lubrication at this spot on the inner side of the sleeve. So it should not go on the top side of the piston, because if it goes on the top side of the piston, here combustion is taking place. So in this combustion, this oil will burn. Only the oil should remain on the bottom side of the piston, and it must, at every stroke, it must go up and it must come down. This is the function of these two rings. They scrap the oils, they wipe out the oil, and they bring that oil back to the oil pan. So this is the function of the 3 rings. It's compression ring, second is also compression and scrubbing ring, and third is the lubricating ring, where it provides the lubrication to the moving piston of the engine. Then the piston pin, it is also called as gudgeon pin. It is a French word. It is also called as gudgeon pin. What is the function of this gudgeon pin? It connects your piston with the connecting rod. It connects your piston with the connecting rod, and it gives movement. As we know that the piston is reciprocating, but your crank is rotating. So it is having two motions. One is upward, downward, and a pendulum type motion is also there. So here you will find that the needle sleeve bearings are fitted in between connecting rod and this gudgeon pin. Gudgeon pin is generally a hollow type pin, and the circlips are there to lock this. So piston is locked with the help of this Gajan pin. This Gajan, because this Gajan pin is very important part. Why it is important? Because on whenever there is a explosion or the combustion will take place, there is a compressive force acting on the piston, and the total load comes on this Gajan pin. So Gajan pin will uh, must be strong enough to withstand this load. And while moving up also, there is a load. Suppose this piston is moving up, there is a load on this Gajan pin, because this connecting rod is in continuously, it is in compression and expansion stroke. So it creates lot of stresses during the operation. So these are the three components: pistons, piston pins, and piston rings. Now we move to the next component. Next component is the valves and valve mechanism. Here we know that valve mechanism is needed. Valve mechanism is needed to for the operation of valves, inlet valve and exhaust valve of the engine. From the inlet valve we supply air and fuel mixture, or sometimes in diesel engine only air, and exhaust, after combustion gases must be exhaust. Here you can observe that there is a camshaft. From by this camshaft these valves are operated. So this total is called as valve mechanism. There is a crank. Through this crank only this camshaft is rotated with the help of belt. This belt is timing belt, because at proper time your inlet valve must be open, and at proper time your exhaust valve must be open. Now what is the proper time of the inlet valve and exhaust valve opening? The inlet valve must open at the end of the compression. So, and exhaust valve in the next cycle, it must open at the end of the exhaust when there is a exhaust stroke. So it should operate in proper timing. That's why this timing belt is installed. This is totally called as valve mechanism. Now here I'll read the construction. The valve mechanism is simply a sequence of opening and closing of valves. It should be valves, not valve. A valve is a device that regulates, directs, or controls the flow of fluid gases by opening, closing, and partially obstructing various passages. The valve mechanism consists of camshaft. This is camshaft. Push rod. This is push rods. Which are push rods? These are push rods. This is push rod. These are push rods. And then the exhaust opening, rocket arm, valve rings, and all these. The function of the mechanism is opens and closes the intake and exhaust valves. What are the materials of this inlet? And generally made of nickel chromium alloy, because it should not bend, or it should not break. Steels, and exhaust valves are made of silicon steel. The valve spring should be fatigue resistant and made up of a high grade spring steel wire, hard drawn steel, or chrome vanadium steel, because these are the springs. It must retain its original position, so springs are provided to the system. So this is about the valves and valve mechanism. This is the second part of the components. We'll discuss the third part in next lecture. So thank you for watching.